everyone. Welcome to another episode of Avian Home Adventure here at the Carolina Raptor Center, and I have a very special bird to show you today. This is Monty, and he's very much enjoying the sunshine. So Monty is a Lanner falcon, and he is about 15 years old. He's been at the center for about 4 years now. And these guys look a lot like the peregrine falcon. We have a peregrine falcon here as well, and they look very, very similar. And a lot of ways they are very, very similar. So the Lanner falcon comes from parts of Africa, the Middle East, even parts of Asia and Europe. They're pretty well spread out. Are you enjoying the sunshine? And these guys are going to eat your mammals, they're going to eat even your lizards, but they especially like eating other birds. And they are very well adapted to eating other birds. So they are built to fly at speeds very, very fast. So the peregrine falcon is known for its speed. It can fly up to speeds of 240 miles per hour. These guys can't get as fast. They can only get up to about 90 miles per hour. And they use that speed to kill their prey. So they're gonna soar way up high in the sky and they see birds passing by. They're gonna go into a stoop. So they're gonna go nose first, directly at their food. And at the last minute, they're gonna turn their feet and snatch their feet out of the sky. And they even have a little longer middle toe. Sorry, who wants that piece? Fine, you have the piece. They have a longer middle toe to help them give a little more reach to grab their food out of the sky. Oh.
Close up.
Do you like being filmed? You're very good at it. So when these guys finally knock their food out of the sky, they have almost a tooth, if you want to get, I don't know if he'll stay still, but he actually has like a little notch in his beak that he uses to basically sever the head of, or break the neck of whatever bird he catches. And if you guys can look even a little more closely, inside of his nose, he has a special bone, and that helps regulate the air going, hitting him in the face. So if you were to stick your head out of a moving car, it's kind of hard to get that air. The air's just hitting you so hard that it's hard to get a good breath. But these guys have a special bone that enables them to fly at those speeds. Ooh, that was a good one. And keep breathing, basically. So if you look at the back of his head, he's got this really cool red, he's a redhead, a little ginger, and that's one of the differences between these guys and the peregrine falcon. These are going to have that nice shiny red head, but they do both have those marks on his marks on under their eyes. That is to keep the sun out of their eyes. When they're flying around, they really need to rely on that eyesight, and those marks keep the sun from getting into their eyes. So you see that a lot with baseball players, football players. They took that from the peregrine and the Lanner falcon.
What's on the menu today?
Ooh, what's on the menu? So today is mouse day. So he is getting pieces of mice that I cut up this morning. He's also getting a little bit of quail. We like to try to mimic their diet of what it would be in the wild. So he would eat other birds, so quail is an excellent food source for him. But he also enjoys a good mouse. If you see him rotating his head around like that, he's just moving his food down into his crop. And if I turn sideways,
oh, we can see it. You can see the bulge.
He's got that big bulge right there. And these guys, like other raptors, produce a pellet. So these guys will actually digest the bone. So if you pull apart their pellet, it will just be hair. Probably might be some debris. But they just can't digest the food. It's a way for them to get rid of the hair without having to keep it in them and weigh them down.
How often do our birds get fed?
Our birds get fed every day. They They all get a wide variety between mouse, rat, chick, quail, sometimes even fish when we have it, but they get fed every day.
So Monty is going to be getting his entire diet as he is sitting nicely on the glove and participating in our avian home adventure. So his entire diet is cut up into bite-sized pieces that's used for a little treat.
So Monty, before he was here, he was used for falconry. We don't really do any falconry techniques here. Falconry is when they use the birds to go out and hunt for the birds' food. Our birds have a pretty easy life. All they need to do is be very cute and be used for education. So you guys may have met Monty. We have traveled to some schools in the area, so if you recognize him, you probably have met him before. So,
Monty also was a star in our bird show for the summer, so you may recognize him from our previous summer's bird shows as well. He's very famous here at the center.
I do have to admit, he is one of my favorites. He's 15 years old. He's got, I like to call him my little puppy. He's very interactive, very happy to be out and with people. He might drop his wings for us. He's taking in that sun.
Why is his skin so yellow?
That's a really good question. We feed our birds here chicks, and those chicks are, 1 to 2 day old chicks, and they still have the yolk inside of them. Oh.
There's a bird that flew overhead.
And that is what changes their skin color to be that bright, bright yellow color. Oh, bud. You enjoying that sunshine? So if you get a good look at his eyes, he's got that ridge over his eyes that also protects his eyes from the sun. You know, he can't put on sunglasses like us, he can't put on a hat, and he needs to be able to find his food. So he uses that ridge over his eye to protect his eyes with the mallard marks that keeps the sun out of them. These guys are really adapted at hunting a lot of food. You know, they'll eat anything from mammals to birds to snakes, lizards, sometimes even insects. And an interesting fact about these guys, they don't build their own nests. Even though they can live in a lot of different environments, they need to be near cliffs to make their nests. And they don't really make them. They either just kind of find a ridge to lay their eggs, or they will take an abandoned nest and make it their own. Yeah. Both parents do help raise the young, so even though they're pretty solitary birds, you might see them flying in pairs for hunting. They'll even use each other to kind of flush out food, so one can go get it. But they're pretty solitary other than hunting. And if there's a large food source, you might see them congregate together. So he doesn't live with any other birds. He's perfectly happy with hanging out in his little bachelor pad. Oh.
Does he have a favorite food here at the center?
I think he likes the quail the best. If we give it to him with all the feathers on it, he likes to pluck the feathers off and make a mess, and it's good enrichment for him. We do give enrichment to him. He's not one of the birds that will shred it or tear it up, but he still gets enrichment. He mostly just looks at it or puts it in his water dish.
So we talked about that crop. I don't know if you guys have been watching it, but it has gotten bigger as we have been going on. And he's just storing that food until it's ready to move down to the stomach.
So you might think maybe he's getting too much food. That's a lot of food in his crop. But our birds differ. Their metabolism is a lot different, so we're not going to feed the same amount to an owl that we do to a falcon. He has a very high metabolism, so even though that kind of looks like he looks a little ridiculous, he is a good weight, and that's a perfect amount for him. Woo. Oh. So we call that a rouse. A rouse is just him being comfortable, adjusting his feathers. He might even be cooling off, warming up, just adjusting those feathers. It's a great sign that he is comfortable being here and having a good time. Yeah.
So to talk about his food again, he is getting all of his meal cut up into bite-sized pieces as treats. So that's what he's going to get today. Any food he doesn't get on the glove, he'll get fed once he gets home. Other birds who aren't worked today will just get their food fed whole. Another question, what is their lifespan in the wild versus here at the center?
Yeah, so he is 15 years old, which is, you know, getting up there in age. In the wild, their lifespan is around 10 to 12 in the wild. And with a lot of our birds, the smaller the bird, the shorter their lifespan. The larger the bird, they tend to live longer. So he's about a medium-sized bird, so 10 to 12. It's pretty good. Here at the center, we can double or sometimes even triple the lifespan of a bird just because they have access to really high-quality food. We also have a vet on staff, so they get really good health care. So we'll double or even triple their lifespan.
Why does he have darker feathers on his back compared to the front?
We'll try to turn around. He's got an amazing set of feathers. There's almost a blue tint to it. So when he's finding his food flying up in the sky and birds look up into the sky, he wants to be invisible. He doesn't want his food to see that he's coming. So that's why he's lighter in the front and he'll be darker on the back. Huh? He only weighs about a pound. The last time I weighed him, he was 525 grams, which is about a pound. But they can get to about a pound and a half. Females in the raptor world are sometimes bigger than the males. So the females can get up to a pound and a half, almost 2 pounds sometimes.
Can you remind us what species this is for people just joining in?
This is Monty. He is a lanner falcon. Looks a lot like the peregrine falcon, but they are a little bit different. Huh. And you're a very good bird.
Will they fly with a full crop?
He will wait. Sometimes he even lays down because he's a little lazy. But he can still fly with a full crop. Probably not soaring, probably not long distances, but he can definitely still fly. Even though that crop is pretty impressive. I think it's bigger than your head now.
That's actually a really good question. Most raptors do have crops. And when you guys see like a flock of vultures on the side of the road feasting on a dead deer, that is a lot of meat for those vultures. So they are going to stuff their crops. And they're going to end up being a little bit heavier when they first landed on that deer. So if you guys see a bunch of vultures on the side of the road eating a deer, please slow down. They're a lot heavier than when they landed, so it takes them a little bit extra effort to get a little bit of lift to fly away. And sometimes they can't fly away yet because they ate too much. So if you see raptors on the side of the road eating some dead meat, please just slow down for them because it is a little bit harder for them to move. So that's an excellent question, and it's kind of fun to show off how big their crops can get as they're eating.
You look ridiculous, bud. So here at the center, you guys have maybe heard us talk about we use positive reinforcement training. So Monty had the choice to come out. He made the choice to get on my glove, to come out, to put on equipment. It just helps us build trust in our relationships here, and it makes them even more eager to come out and participate with us.
I don't know if you guys heard that noise in the background. Our raven is trying to get our attention, and he's doing his raindrop noise. So it sounds like water dripping in a bucket. So if you guys hear that in the background, that's him trying to get our attention.
So both our Raven and Monty do live on our public trail. So when we do open, you guys can even come visit them. All right, guys, I want to thank you for joining us for another avian home adventure here at the Carolina Raptor Center, and we will see you guys tomorrow.